I'm getting in shape. I shape. In shape for this money on the treadmill running. I ain't looking at nothing, I'm getting in shape. 100 miles in running. Still got a full tank.
And we're live. Another episode of One-on-One with BundyMcBuckets. I'm back in the lab. I don't have a sound guy yet, so usually there'll be some claps or something. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna have to be really animated.
Yeah. We got to make up for that shit.
Fantastic.
Yo, today I got Darren Tahbaz in the house.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on.
Media personality, overall hustler. He out here
Vibes.
getting it, man. How you feeling today?
Honestly, man, it's been a long day, but when you get behind a camera and you have a good conversation, it don't matter what time of the day is.
Yeah, man.
I mean, after it.
Especially if it's a cool conversation, because you'll get up for that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just move your mic a little bit closer to you.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, we good.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys get up for it as well, because we're gonna have some good conversating.
We're gonna kick some game in this bit.
Exactly.
Cheers on it, man.
Cheers.
You know, gotta have a nice little drink.
Let's get these guys to sponsor you, bro.
Man, Wonder, holler at me, bro.
Wonder, man.
Wonder.
It's a wonder you've seen so many of these videos and still have not sponsored him yet.
Man, you need to come on with it.
Hey.
All right, man. Shoot, man. So for the people who don't know you, we're gonna get into your story. You know what I'm saying? Let's where are you from, man? Where did you grow up at?
Dude, honestly, I'm like a true LA boy. And you know, in a certain sense, I grew up in the South Bay, Palos Verdes, born and raised. Spent, 18 years there. Went off, played Division I soccer at U San Fran. Spent a year at Dominguez Hills playing there, a couple years at UCSD, and I'm back in LA. So I'm like really born and bred in this city. So, when I talk to people that say they're from LA, I love it. I love having those conversations. Love having conversations with people that are, have transplanted to this city, because I really do believe it's a special place.
Palos Verdes, man. My girl's grandpa has a house over there, by the water. It's hella nice over there,
It's
man.
hella nice, bro.
It's fucking ridiculously nice.
But it's a bubble. We can get into that too, man.
It's a bubble? What
it's
you mean?
A bubble, man.
What you mean it's a bubble?
Like, I'm so blessed I grew up playing sports and, interacting with kids from LA, all parts of the city, because if you live in PV, you really are in, fairy tale land.
Oh, yeah, because you don't know what the fuck's actually going on in the real world, man.
Yeah,
it's yeah, I can see that.
Dude, there's a part of Palos Verdes called Castle Hill.
Castle Hill? What's Castle Hill?
It's basically a street looking over the water with just, $50 million houses that are really castles, in its truest form. One of my buddies actually lives out there. Great kid. Kaden Moskowitz. Love you, dude. But yeah, there's a whole trope with the city that I think validly deserves, just kind of that removal from, what LA truly is. It's a grind, bro. It's a hustle. And I feel like I was, bred in that city in a certain degree. All the hate that the city gets about people not putting in the work and we're pretentious or otherwise. Man, hop on the 405, 8 in the morning to go from Palos Verdes to Santa Monica like my mom did every day. Comes home, picks me up, out to practice. 2 hours into fucking Orange County, bro. That was me throughout middle school and high school. And I'm very blessed that my parents were part of that process with sports. But it definitely subconsciously kind of reaffirmed the hustle that you needed in this city if you wanted to be successful.
Well, I mean, you're going to get that from sports regardless, because it's all competition. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing when I was playing basketball. It's I gotta go find this guy so I can just whoop his ass and just show him that I'm better. You know what I'm saying? I gotta practice every day. I gotta get better and all this shit. So,
you played growing up?
Yeah, ball. Yeah, I played football. I played basketball. When I was first growing up, football and baseball was my thing.
Yeah.
I really liked football and baseball, but I got into basketball later, and that turned out to be my sport, man. That was my shit. BundyMcBuckets.
BundyMcBuckets. All right. No, I pulled up to the Something Dope event. This fool was rocking a sick ass Kobe jersey. So.
Oh yeah, man. I'm mad. I didn't get a good picture in that Kobe jersey. I did not get a good picture in that Kobe jersey. JC, man, what happened? I seen you get a couple good flicks, man, but it just wasn't in the folder. What happened, bro?
JC, come on, man.
I'm tripping.
Come on.
So, all right, man. So you go growing up in Palos Verdes. You play soccer. You're on the grind. You go to college, everything like that. What happened after college?
Yeah, man. So I studied political science and international relations. I've always been very in tune with world politics and no cliche, but, very activist in nature in my core. Like from a young age, always wanted to like have things be right. And whatever that meant. As you get older, you start to find out that that's not necessarily the way the wind blows. But yeah, so in college, I ended up starting to do this this program. It was the US IPC, United States Immigration Policy Center, and it was very data analytics based. I'd be cold calling a lot of people to get population samples that we'd push out for whether it was a Democratic Party, Republican Party, or otherwise, different campaigns, different political action groups that are going to want to like use that data to your advantage. And it's funny how that data collection has been almost implemented in a completely different lens with what I do nowadays. And also, I think the work that I did in college of working on different political campaigns, whether I was like Raul Campillo and Jameson Power out in Westminster in 2018, or Joe Leventhal in 2019 out in San Diego City Council, which was on the polar opposite side of the spectrum, like working staunch conservatives and like very liberal lenses, gives you a pretty good grasp of what people actually need. And then working with the US IPC, I was able to kind of implement that at a different level where I learned a lot about just like the data behind what politics truly is and how that's going to govern the way society moves forward. And I got out of college. I'd like recently gone a little viral on TikTok, and I was like, damn, bro, like I don't know if I want to go into law school. Like I really don't know if I want to do that.
You want to go into that entertainment stuff?
Yeah. And I was like, dude, like I have an inclination for this. Like, I've always wanted to see where that takes me in whatever regard, whether that was acting or music or otherwise. Like I wanted to see what that was going to pan out. And I ended up starting to like promote. So I started promoting at clubs in LA. And that was like my way in. I was like, if I start promoting, I might meet the right person that leads to XYZ.
Right.
And so I started doing that. And one thing led to another. Started working PR with this lady in her boutique firm. And that was my first like real grasp into public relations. And that's, the large cusp of what I do nowadays. I'm a public relations specialist. I do artist relations as well. And generally speaking, that's kind of the crux of my work nowadays. And, stepping into that world was really interesting. I had the experience of, throwing 2 major events out for the Grammys and Oscars. Dealing with people's interests is almost like in the same way how I was working political campaigns. Like, how do you position a person to be bigger than they are, or kind of diminish a bad aspect of them by adding, 2 or 3 other parts of their life that they were missing.
Shed light on the better parts.
Exactly. And so I've been able to, do that of late, which, again, I know he mentioned hustling. Like, one of my major clients is the Husl. It's a Web3, metaverse and specifically music and art-based NFT company. And we were actually a sponsor at Something Dope for the People event. That's how I was able to get involved. And this is what I think really kind of brought me into a completely different aspect of my life, was working with them, doing PR. I ended up having a meeting one day where I'm at dinner with them. I've been doing like work for setting up events for them and whatnot, helping them get the right new musicians that they might need in order to sign on different deals. And they were needing a new red carpet host.
Mm-hmm. And
I was just like, dude, I want that job. Like, I'd never done anything like that before, with the exception of like hosting a banquet or gala within Dominguez Hill's, athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew there was
That was your first time doing the red carpet?
Not this one. Not this one.
Oh, okay. I was
like... Nah, bro. Nah. So, this was back, this conversation I'm talking about was with Matthew Shellhouse back, and he's our CFO. Shout out, Matt. Was back in, I want to say November of last year. And we're out in like Beverly Hills at some like dinner spot. And this dude is like so nonchalant about like basically dangling the job in front of me and saying, nah, like you're not gonna get it, right? You know how people do that though, right? They'll be like, oh, like we were thinking about maybe putting you on for this, but I don't know if it's like, it's the right fit. And so I'm sitting there like throughout the next 50 minutes of this dinner, just like dude, what the fuck?
Right, yeah. You brought me here to just, like, play around? Like, what are we doing here, man?
Yeah, so, end of the conversation, I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, dude, you know what? This is ridiculous. Like, I didn't come here to this dinner to be told, like, I'm not going to get this opportunity. Like, I could do the job. 1,000% give me the opportunity. And so, I think he wanted that from me. He wanted that, like, grit. And if I could offer anything to people, and I'm sure you could attest to this, like, in this space, you know, there's a lot of sharks in this city. And sometimes you do have to, like, bite in order to get what you want. Like, don't bite too hard where you piss people off, but enough where they see that you're willing to go, like, the length to get what you want. And
or bite hard enough to where, like, people aren't gonna mess with you. They're not gonna think you're a pushover.
Exactly.
Like, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't be too nice out here.
Exactly. You can't,
put
bro.
your foot down, or people gonna take advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. Without a doubt, brother. And so, you know, ended up getting the job, and it started off with, like, me doing interviews at a couple different events. I ended up interviewing during, like, Super Bowl week. Did a bunch of different spots. You know, people I could think off the top of my head: Kurt Warner, Vince Ferragamo. What's that fool from the Cowboys? Michael, like, 2-time NFL.
Irving?
Michael Irving, bro. Dude, what a guy, by the way. Shows up to this event with, like, 2 bad bitches.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's part of his persona, right?
Yeah.
I be seeing him on ESPN. Wilding with Stephen A.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. You know, he's a clown, but he gave some very good insight on leading up to the Super Bowl with the Rams and Bengals, and, you know, was very much on the train about, you know, the defense was going to separate the Rams. Because the QBs both had that talent. And he was on the money, bro. I hope he bet. He probably made a shit ton of money, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Man, they need to go ahead and legalize betting in California, man.
That's a fact.
I'm trying to make me some money on, I can't even, FanDuel or something. One of them motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Like, yo, I be seeing my friends back in Chicago, like, hitting on these picks and shit. I'm like, yo, I can't even fucking do it out here, man. I mean, there's
you need,
there's
like, a
certain,
bookie out there to, like,
there's some certain ways you can do it, but I just rather do it on those apps that they're using instead of the one, like, I'm not trying to put no names out there, but
yeah,
there's one I tried and I just wasn't feeling. I had to, like, take my stuff out in Bitcoin and switch it all out to some other stuff, and I was just like, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, that's a whole separate discussion, by the way, in, like, Web3, where I think there can be an optimization, is, like, the wallet transfer process can be difficult for a lot of people. But, you know, kind of getting back to that conversation that, like, I had with Michael Irving, that ended up leading to me doing interviews during Oscars week, Grammys week, with a plethora of other people that were, you know, very, very influential and interesting, like Nicole Scherzinger, Bia, Neo, Lil Jon, and then, you know, like the likes of Tyga, you know, a handful of other people, Grammy nominees and award winners, Al Walser. And I just had that inclination. And when I talk about hustling, it's like there were so many times where I would literally have to finesse my way into events.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get the interviews.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that's like the biggest part about it, is, like, you know, when you're there, can you execute? Like, dude, Tyga's team did not want me to get an interview with this fool. Like,
wow, what were they doing?
So I was, like, out of Coachella, and I went up to his PR at the beginning of the event, and, like, dude, I was there for, like, 6 hours, bro. Like, it was a
You were waiting for Tyga specifically?
Just for this fucker Tyga.
Damn.
Bro, not worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I don't even rock with Tyga like that.
Not worth it. But Tyga, I respect you for, you know, at the end having a little chat with me. But nonetheless, like, I pull up and I go up to his PR. I was like, hey, like, can I have a conversation with him? And they're like, yeah, like, don't worry, we'll find you in a little bit. So then 2 hours goes by. I'm, like, patiently waiting. And now he goes up on the decks. And, like, dude, that wasn't even spinning on the decks. He was just kind of, like, hitting it, you know, on his keyboard. I DJ
just twist. Yeah, he had the music there. He'll just click the song, like, boop.
Yeah, and you had, like, 6 people around him, just, like, you know, yes men, just nodding their head. Which that's how the way the wind blows. But nonetheless, right at the end, I go up and I was like, let me get a quick interview. And his team was like, no. And then it's like 6'8" bodyguards pull up on me, like. And, dude, I'm not big like that, bro. So, like, fuck.
Either way, it's their job to fuck people up.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I wait for this motherfucker to walk to his car. And as I'm walking, I find one window where they kind of, like, look away. And I swoop in to get, like, the shot that I needed in order to, you know, get the deliverable for our company. But, yeah, man, dude, it's a grind. But I love it. You know, you saw me at the Something Dope for the People event. It's conversations with like Jeremy, where, you know, this guy's been at it. He's been doing a really good job with the stuff that I want to take a deeper dive into. You know, interviews at different award shows or otherwise, have like those really personal experiences with people, like you have in a podcast, right? Like that type of talk with individuals is really important. And he's like, yeah, man, like you're doing a good job. Like that's really dope. Like keep at it. And you want to get that feedback from people that are doing similar work for you, because it's always collaboration down the road. Like I'll learn from him that maybe I'll then pass on to the next person that I meet 2 years from now that is getting into the same type of work that I'm doing. But again, media personality, I'm just trying to get into as many different lenses as possible, brother.
Where are you trying to end up eventually? Like what's the end game for you?
The end game?
Where you see yourself at, man? Like not even 10 years from now, just like when you're actually able to just relax and like
political run.
But you running for president?
Yeah.
You running for president, bro?
Dead ass. Like you hear it here first. 2040, Darren Tahbaz.
2040. You heard it on one-on-one McBuckets first,
bro.
Man.
I had a conversation with this guy not too long ago, and we get into like our first chat. We're having like a little lunch meeting, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm running for 2036 president."
I was like, you don't even know. I'm 2040. I'm right on your ass.
I literally told him that. I was like, 2040, I'm coming for you.
Well, if you win, you only got 4 years, buddy.
Exactly.
Ain't gonna be no 8-year term around here.
But dude, it's crazy though, because like actually working at the local, state, and national level, I realized that there's nothing you can do without money.
Well, yeah.
You're gonna get bought out. I don't care how good of a human being you are. The moment someone presents you with like $10 million for your campaign, that's gonna guarantee that you get like just enough of the standard deviation in votes to win the campaign. You need that money, and it's gonna come with a conditionality, and unfortunately you're gonna have to follow through with that.
What kind of conditions are we talking about, man? Like, you talking about selling yourself for the $10 million to make president?
It's like this, bro. So Jameson Power and Raul Campillo's campaign out in Westminster, they did a good job in like organic outreach and, you know, doing the whole guerrilla marketing approach and knocking on everyone's door and everything. They even had a group of Vietnamese children, like high schoolers, that were in there calling the community out there to be able to connect with individuals that otherwise wouldn't get access to voting materials, right? They don't even speak English. And so they're trying to capture all this market share, do the work necessary in order to get the votes that they need to win. Meanwhile, the opposing campaign got bought out by the local energy company for only $500,000. Only $500,000, won the campaign, guaranteed that any regulation that went in place in the city that would have been adverse to that energy company no longer happen. And it's things like that. It's like, okay, you're not necessarily selling your soul, but you're for sure not doing enough for the greater good.
Well, I mean, these companies that are giving you money aren't giving you money because they just rock with you. They have a hidden agenda. So, yeah. I mean, if that's the case, I don't think I can't do that, man. I can't even do it. I couldn't even do it. I'd be that person I'd be Bernie Sanders out here the whole time. I keep running, man, but I just wouldn't be able to, like, just take no money from stuff that I'm not rocking with. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I was, when I'm lucky enough to get endorsements with this and stuff, and I'm keep building the brand and stuff like that, I just can't, like, you know, I'm not going to be, like, just endorsing shit that I don't mess with, man. Like, I give me a Chipotle endorsement because I eat that shit a lot. Fuck with me with the Wonders, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, like, you know, Sheen, like, if they come holler at me, nah.
Like, nah.
Like, all them, like, those, you know, just companies.
Fashion Nova pulls up to you with a sponsorship. What do you say?
Well, let me see. I got to see what Fashion Nova all about. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, my girls, like, ordered shit from there before, but I think it's been a while. Like, so I don't know if they have, like, slave labor and all this extra shit, man. I ordered some Sheen stuff, and that shit was so raggedy, like. That shit was so raggedy. I got like a corduroy jacket like that and shit. Corduroy like peeled off on the fucking side like the second time I wore it. I was like, just took it off and threw it away. Yeah. That shit was ridiculous. But no, like I'm saying, man, it's just I don't know. I don't know if that was what you were trying to say. Like if you're saying like you'll just kind of sell yourself, or
I'm glad that you brought that point up because I think even in my short experience in LA and working PR, like I've aligned with some people that are truly bad, you know, like bad individuals that do not live by the better business practices that I think an individual should have. You know, like there's a world that we can live in where we're all aligned with our own goals and visions and not fucking people over and not like doing things that are adverse to, you know, the greater good. And if that's Shein and their practices overseas, like you don't need to align with the company like that. The money's not necessarily worth it. Maybe you take a smaller, you know, sponsor that you align with better, right? And again, that's the same thing with politics. It's just harder for you to be able to have that decision power. And in PR nowadays, I have that ability. I have that ability to choose my clients. Like, I won't pick a client that I'm working with unless I've had like a conversation with you, like face to face. You know, we've been able to chop it up and we have a good idea of like where the vision's going. You know, if there's no true alignment, one person's gonna get taken for a ride, and whether that's monetarily or, you know, spiritually in a sense, like it's not necessary. And so like politics is just really difficult for you to have that control over those types of decisions, because end of the day, where's like JP Morgan Chase throwing most of their money at oil companies? You know, like you need a JP Morgan Chase to win a campaign. You need oil companies to win a campaign, and it might look bad on your personal image.
It's gonna look horrible on your personal image.
Yeah.
Cause the oil, like that shit is just, man, wars and just bullshit. So much bullshit started up. I can't wait till everything is like we're away from the gas and like those certain companies that are just like profiting off of just corruption and fucking people over, messing up the environment.
Big time, bro.
Because I mean,
Big
shit,
time.
man, we have one planet. I mean, I know I'm probably gonna be gone before things get fucked up, but like, you know, my seed is gonna be here. Whoever
For
I
sure.
bust some nuts in, like, you know what I'm saying,
For
my
sure.
children, like, they'll have to deal with the planet. So I mean, if we can get like this global warming thing in check, like if we can get like our natural resources back in check, because there's a certain thing that I see, like I think they do I forget the name of it, but it's like there's a point during the year where we use more resources faster than the earth can replenish them. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know the exact
Yeah,
term.
I don't know the exact name, but I think they said this year was a record. Like we beat that shit, like we killed it so early, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's like that's just a theme that's going on.
It just keeps going up. Like, you know, in like the past 5 years, I think we've had world records in like nearly every category of hurricane, earthquake, you know, even your recent eruptions, heat waves, cold freezes. It's just like, it's crazy.
Gaia finna get us up out of here, bro.
1000%.
Like straight up, man, because like this earth does not need us.
It doesn't need us. It
doesn't need us.
By the way, though, like the planet has gone through so many more, you know, hectic climactic periods, way worse than what we're going through right now, and it's always recovered. But it's I think the lack of wherewithal that we've put our planet through a very rapid change and on that path of almost like elimination of bad resources in order to kind of reset in 200 fucking years. In 200 years, we've taken 1,000 year to 1,500 year process and just that's mad, bro.
And it's gonna get even faster.
Yeah.
As technology builds up, because like over the last 200 years, technology has been a boom. You know what I'm saying? We went from fucking bows and arrows to like drones and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're blowing up, figuring out ways to blow up asteroids in the. Do
you see that video, by the way?
No, I didn't see the video, but I heard they was talking about that. Like, but we need that. We need that. We ain't got the Justice League around this bitch. Yeah, bro. Like, so we need like
defense type
some kind of thing, man. Some kind of thing. All right.
Wait, but actually, that brings my next question to you. Is like, if you had the opportunity to go to space, commercial space flight, hop over to Mars, maybe like a International Space Station vibe for like a year, would you do it?
Probably not.
No.
I mean, what's going on over there? What the fuck am I doing over there?
I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna be one of the first people over there. I can tell you that much, bro. I'm not an expedition type nigga. That is not me. Like, I done seen way too many movies. The first people that go places never come back. I'll pull up when the civilization is like thriving and booming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit. But nah. I'm not really like a space person. Like, I enjoy learning about space, but I don't need to go up there. Like, I feel like I just want to do like the weightlessness thing one time, but I could do that on the ground now. So I really got no reason to go to space, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've just always been very much on that train. Like, I will, given the opportunity, bro. If I had like $100,000 and it was like you need 100,000 to go to Mars and live your last 10 years, sign me the fuck up. Any day of the week.
Depends on what's going on out there. I mean, is it like a resort, like a crazy, like nothing but fun resort out there or something, or is it just like here, but I can't be outside?
Nah, bro. I feel like for me, it's like, you know, like that lasting message, like, oh, were you part of like the first group of humans to, you know, speciate on another planet? Like, that's fucking crazy. Because we're literally almost at that point, I think, in like our cycle of self-destruction, where like we're talking about like wars and, you know, economic turmoil and that whole shebang. If we just decide to populate another planet, we eliminate so much risk of like turning back the dial on civilization just by separating ourselves, you know,
like getting off the planet that we're messing up.
Yeah.
Let's go pull up on Mars and go fuck some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Get a nice dumpster.
Give me my little dome to live in.
Man, like, that's so crazy, dude. I couldn't do it, man. I need some fresh air. I don't want to just like. No, I gotta be able to go outside, man. Mars is boring, bro.
I respect it, man.
Mars is boring. They ain't got no trees, no birds, no like lakes. They ain't got no water. There's no water.
They do though.
They do.
They do. It's frozen.
You seen
it?
It's.
I mean, I
How's
haven't
it frozen
seen it
on that hot ass planet? Planet. How is it frozen on that hot ass planet?
I think you're thinking of Venus.
Mars is closer to the sun, isn't it?
No, it's Mercury, Venus,
Earth, then
Mars.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Dude, I watched a crazy video. No, bro, I watched a crazy ass video on Venus and like actually turning it into a habitable planet, and it's a 10,000 year process of like
terraforming or something.
Exactly. You basically have to freeze the planet so that all of the methane and carbon dioxide falls as snow, ship the carbon dioxide off the planet and the methane off the planet, and then that takes thousands of years. And bro, they create these like. This is all conceptually written down, and there's math for it, which is the wildest thing. And so we just have to have enough money to devote to projects like this, which is the craziest part about it. But they create these like basically mirrors on either end of the planet, so it deflects light off in different directions. So it never actually touches Venus. And Venus is very similar to the size of Earth and has a similar gravity. The only problem is like the density of the atmosphere is like way harder for us to live. Like, you get crushed by how dense it is, like at the bottom of the ocean type vibes. And so
pressure on you and shit.
Exactly. And so it takes thousands of years where you can finally get like ice chunks of carbon just shipped off the planet, and then you're gonna have to ship in oxygen, ship in water.
That's too goddamn much.
And then get the sun to heat it up again, bros. Long time.
See, everybody gets so innovative when it comes to ways to do something so different. Instead of taking that, taking their brain power and applying that to the planet we're already on.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But again, I think it still comes down to that discussion of like, you know, do you want to give humanity a better shot at like continuing forward? And that's maybe the optimist in me, like the kind of like reluctant optimist where I see like the power in doing something like that. Like, for example, the pyramids, bro. Those were built generations upon generations of people. There's no way it was built overnight, unless you think it was aliens, and we can have a discussion about that. But, you know...
That would be crazy.
Anyways, but the point is, like, with the pyramids, like, that took a long-ass time. Cathedrals in Europe during, like, the Middle Ages, hundreds of years to build. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, that was started in the 19th century. It's still not finished.
But they better get their shit together,
bro. For real,
like, bro, we got cranes and all kinds of crazy stuff now.
What is taking y'all so long?
Bro? Get the fuck. The hell is wrong with this stuff, man? We got way too much technology for you to be. What the hell are they built? Are they like taking ancient rocks out of the ground to build this fucking place or something? Like,
fucking Targaryen, need your dragon stone. Like, what's going
fuck, on? Man, you watch that shit?
Yeah, I do.
You watched the first Game of Thrones, right?
I've watched all the Game of Thrones and now House of the Dragon.
How you feel about the first Game of Thrones? Like, take me through that. Who's your favorite character?
I mean, dude, I'm a big Jon Snow fan. I ride for that fool. I'm also
King of the North.
the King of the North. Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Turns out he's something Targaryen.
Yeah,
whatever the fuck his name
they
was.
thought it was like Jay Harris, but I think it ended up being like Aegon Targaryen.
Either way, man, he was smacking his aunt down, bro.
Yeah, bro. Targaryens, y'all are weird, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I fuck with you in terms of like the energy y'all bring, and riding dragons is super cool.
Yeah,
but this whole like family incest vibes that you guys bring, it's not cool.
It's not realistic because all your children would have just been like,
yo, can I hit you with some real history right now? So the Spanish like Empire, end of the 17th century, and I could be misquoting the actual ruler, but I believe it was Philip II, was, after nearly 100 years of inbreeding between the Habsburgs, led to an impotent and, lack of a better word, special individual, who could not, literally could not.
What's up? We got the sound guy, John Quest, in here. What's happening, bro? What's up? But what?
Yeah.
Impotent?
Yeah.
First
So
of all,
impotent.
what does that mean?
Impotent, like he could not produce any
Okay,
children.
right.
And, he definitely was, the DNA was scattered in a certain degree. And when you have an empire that controls...
Wait, hold on. How they do it? All right, so, like,
it would be
this
like,
is 100 years of incest we're talking about.
So let's talk...
Is it daughter incest, cousin incest?
But let's talk about Europe and its royal families. Almost every royal family, like, for example, Queen Elizabeth had 3 children that ended up all going to war that led to World War I. They were all different leaders. Leader of Russia, leader of England, and then I believe the other leader was leader of Prussia. They were all her children, and like either children or nephews. Basically, all families in Europe were related. So it's not really outlandish to think that, like, royal families were marrying each other off. It was a whole pure bloodline idea. But the idea of what was happening with the Habsburgs is they were so transfixed on trying to keep their family bloodline ultra pure that it ended up being like a Spanish Habsburg, love affair where like the aunt would marry off to a nephew or the uncle would marry off to a niece, or, brother sister vibes. Very Targaryen, and
Trash.
it led to the death of the empire. And I think you see reminiscent like kind of tropes and throwbacks to that idea of what happened in Middle Age Europe or otherwise in House of the Dragon. Like, the whole concept of the show is the end of the Targaryen family.
Yeah. They gotta stop it.
They keep marrying their own fucking family members.
That shit was crazy, bro.
Like,
I can't do it. They're keeping the white hair, though. That's pretty cool. Like,
yeah.
But I'd be mad as hell if I was born in that and I didn't get the white hair, yo. Like, come on, I'm trying to be the light skin with the white hair.
Yeah, bro.
Huh?
They got light skins with white.
They
hair
got
now.
black people.
The
on that
Valerians,
shit.
bro.
Yeah, they got black people.
Hey,
in that
shout out
shit.
to the Valerians. Y'all are hard as fuck.
I don't know if they all the way good yet, though. I'm only like 4 episodes in, so we gonna see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We gonna see. But who was your favorite? Jon Snow was your favorite character in Game of Thrones. How do you feel about the progression of him and how the story ended with him, where he basically just ended up exactly where the fuck he was at before?
Yeah,
I
mean, they're actually, I think, gonna do a spin-off show on what happens after now, and he's gonna be the star in it, which I'm really glad that HBO decided to go that route. But again, it's this idea of like, true royalty versus like perceived royalty, or like the desire for it. I have conversations with my friends a lot. Just finished the book, like this book called The Alchemist, and it talks a lot about that idea of, your desire for something should be pure. Like your desire to love should be pure. Your intentions of work should be pure. Your desire for education, your pursuit of education should be pure. There shouldn't be like this background chatter of like, I want the money, I want the fame, I want the stardom. Like, that should all be like a subsidiary of the work that you're putting in for like your internal, growth. Mm-hmm. And Jon Snow, like, for me, was always that guy. Did not want power, never wanted to like truly lead, but he was put in situations where he had to, and he knew he was the most qualified to be that person, reluctantly, right? And in the end, he was definitely the Song of Ice and Fire, which is the whole book, right? And I fuck with it. I fuck with the whole storyline. I fuck with the fact that, now he is a true king, a king of sovereign people, like the people of the North, like the people beyond the wall. Forgetting what they were called right now off the top of my head.
What were they called?
But you know what I'm talking about, though, right? The people.
Yeah. Fucking his girl, the redhead girl. Oh, the redhead dude. He was one of my favorite characters too, bro. I fucking love that guy.
But yeah, like those people actually, they had a choice in like who they selected as their
the free folk.
The free folk, yeah.
Yeah, the free folk.
Yeah. So again, like in the end, he didn't end up ruling the seven kingdoms, but he ruled a kingdom that wanted him to rule, you know, and it wasn't his birthright. It wasn't a blood related thing. It's just like he was that person. But that man was him. You feel me? Like he was actually that guy. So I fuck with it. And I resonate with characters like that in a lot of different books. I also like Samuel Tarly, you know.
Oh, he was cool. He was cool. Like, he ended up being solid.
Yeah.
You need a friend like Samuel. Like, he wasn't going, like, he had some bodies. He caught some bodies, too. Bodies? He was the first one to kill a White Walker, right? Yeah, he caught some bodies. Yeah. And he got him a little girlfriend, busted him a nut, had a baby. Wait, no, that wasn't his baby.
It wasn't. That was like one of them incest babies.
Oh God, yeah, remember? That was her daddy baby.
Yeah, so that baby would was be her like feeding babies off to White Walkers, which is crazy.
Was her brother?
Oh, it was her father.
Yeah, but it was her brother.
That is her son.
That is her son.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit wild as hell.
Damn.
That shit wild. Anything went back then. Anything went. They didn't give a fuck. I was like, yo, man, you got to be able to murder back then, bro. John, you got to be able to murder because somebody's coming to take your chickens and somebody's coming to take your horses and then take your women's.
What period are we talking about specifically?
Game of Thrones time.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
You didn't see it? The fucking sound effect.
What?
But you know
I've seen a couple of episodes.
Medieval
stuff. I used to love that stuff. I just never got into Game of Thrones. I don't know why.
I highly recommend it if you have
Part
the time.
Part of it's like not having HBO or watching HBO, I guess.
That does make sense.
Yeah,
that'll have like access to it some other way.
Let me give you some love. Let me give you the sprinkles. You know.
Yo, by the way, nice to meet you, dog.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. But so how you feeling about the new show?
I love it, man. I love it. I think it brought out all the best aspects of the original. I think in my opinion, I think like the gore, the sex, the drama,
man,
was
too much.
I mean, but that was Game of Thrones.
There was one, but
that was Game of Thrones.
There was one episode where it was literally just. It's like I felt like they had no story to tell. They was just like, all right, we're gonna slow motion these sex scenes, these super uncomfortable sex scenes. There was like two of them.
Yeah,
like, slow motion, and we saw everything. I'm just like, this progresses the story. None. I just wasted 25 minutes of watching them slow grind.
It's artistic expression.
Is horrible.
Yeah.
It's not even like they was beating it up or nothing like that, bro. They're like,
you know the crazy thing about that episode, by the way. So they have like after that episode, renditions where like the directors come in and talk about, why they shot certain scenes, and that was a female directed episode, and the sex scenes were intentionally chosen from like a woman's perspective of how like they would want to see a shot done, and it was insane. I'd never even considered that.
That's a deep cut.
But legitimately though, like it was very visceral, bro. Like these. No wonder women, take longer to come, dude. They need like a lot more drama involved.
That was too much.
You think so?
I'm just over the. We talked about this shit on the last pod. I'm just over sex scenes in movies, man.
I feel you. But
I
mean, it's very, cool very much on brand with
actors. Like, if I want to see that titty, like, yeah, all right, let's go. But
yeah. Dude, even Emilia Clarke, like her titties were shown in the first season, and then every contract afterward, they CGI'd her face onto some other shit.
For real?
Yeah, like she was like, I'm never going nude again in a scene.
So that wasn't her body?
The first season it was.
And she was fire. So they literally just find somebody with the same exact little fire ass, cute ass little petite body that she had.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emilia Clarke fire. Hey, come on the podcast, Amelia. Let's talk about it, man.
Let's chat about it.
Let's talk about it because I got some questions. All right, yo, I asked this question to I try to ask this question to everybody that comes on the podcast.
Yeah.
If you could recreate a movie and star in it, what movie would you pick?
Interstellar.
Interstellar? I haven't seen that.
Best movie of all time.
Who's in it?
Matthew McConaughey.
What does he do?
So he plays again, I was talking about space with you earlier and how much I appreciate it.
Space. You're right.
Yeah, bro. So like basically this is a world set, I think, towards the end of the 21st century, maybe early 22nd century, where we've gone through all of our famine and all aspects of climate change is like fucked the planet. To the point where people have now put a disinformation campaign out against NASA and us ever going to the moon. The intention behind that was so that they could actually they could fund the NASA, under the table, because people had gained such a distaste towards taxes being put toward anything other than helping them with like general food sustainability, right? And so basically Matthew McConaughey gets sent on this mission to go check out this portal that was set around Jupiter, I believe, near the planet, like the proto or the moon Titan, and it was like a wormhole that sent you to this star system that had 7 different planets that all could have the potential of sustaining life, and the goal was to bring these embryos that were put in this like ship and grow a colony of humans off world. Because the end of our civilization was very soon. The Earth was responding, and we were losing. So
yeah, tell you, Gaia gonna get us out of here.
Exactly. And so,
so you're saying they had humans built portals in space that'll just zoom you out to another.
Yeah. So that's the deep cut. Is like maybe it was humans in the future.
Just take that jump.
I don't know how he got that jump. That's
Isn't
insane.
That what you just said? You said
nah, bro. That's actually
you said
insane.
A tunnel
though.
by Jupiter. Or
I thought when you said that,
yeah,
I was like, whoa, you just cut through the movie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right
that's
anyway,
crazy. So
keep going.
Yeah, so
that's where it went.
Basically. Yeah, there's a wormhole that sent you to a completely different star system on some other part of the universe that we had never even considered was a possibility. And so we sent some of our best scientists out there to try and terraform the planet and do tests. 6 out of the 7 of them were no longer reporting back with data. So they had a mission. Yeah, I mean, they were for sure dead.
I told you, the first people always die.
But listen, this is it gets deeper, like, human nature, right? So there's 2 planets in particular that they're like really looking at now after the first planet killed one of their, the people on the mission, because
they like lose resources too at some point.
Yeah, and if you fly too close...
Did you just say the first planet killed the people?
Killed one of the guys. So
the planet?
The planet itself, because like the planet was like, it's basically a world full with water. Yeah. And so all it is just one big wave circling the planet.
Seriously? A wave just going around?
A wave, but like imagine 150 feet in the sky, like a skyscraper.
So there's no land?
Land is like, like we're wading in the water, like the land is up to, at my feet, but the water's here.
The water's coming.
And then you see like a, skyscraper coming at you, and like that ended up killing one of the people. But the crazier part about it is like the math behind the movie was so brilliant, which is why I want to be a part of it, is like, an accurate depiction of how space would actually react with humans, both physically and I think emotionally, because they had to circle a black hole, which if you get close enough to the event horizon of a black hole, space-time actually bends at such a rate that you are now living longer than people relative to you on Earth.
Right.
So,
time changes,
so for like, he ended up being on the planet for 2 hours, which wiped away, I think, 14 years of his life, some crazy number that now his daughter, who is sending in messages, is like 35 years old, and he left when she was like 7.
But he's not Asian.
He's not Asian at all.
Yeah.
And like the guy, and it's crazy because the guy that was on the ship, the one dude that stayed, he ended up putting himself in a cryostasis tank because he had been on the ship for so long that he had aged like 10 years, and then he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to sleep, you guys pull up. Anyways, they end up going to the next 2 planets. The one that this girl had believed in, they go last. So they go to this other planet, and this guy was like our prime scientist.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I believe it's played by
Matt.
Hold up, I got it right here.
It's not Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. We got Matt Damon in here. We got Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet is in there too. We got Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain.
Yeah. Okay. Great cast.
Michael Caine.
Great cast.
Matt Damon's part is not until
Casey Affleck.
Very, very end of the movie.
Yeah. So Matt Damon, he's
Topher Grace.
Yeah, Topher Grace is in it. He ends up being, he's like the husband of the daughter Murph. But so Matt Damon's like our star scientist, star NASA, astronaut that we sent out there, and he sent in false data to the receivers so that he could be saved. And like that's the human nature, is like this man was like our best human being, and he ends up not only sending in false data, tries to kill Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway
upon arrival,
like tries to murk the fuck out of them, and
savagely,
brutal, Like you're on a planet.
Some, like abandonment in space.
This wasn't on a ship though. This was on the planet.
This was on the planet when they had landed on the planet, and so at end of the day, they end up making it out, and it's like really, really insane how they stay alive, and they never expected to get to a point where they could, have that option, because there's two game plans. It was like populate a planet or go into the center of the black hole, which ended up being like a fifth dimensional tesseract that you find at the end of the movie, and you find out what the data is, because we really can only speculate certain measurements, like how does a black hole function, how does dark matter function, what happens to states of matter that we've never experienced before. Like these are all speculated scientists that are in there, like astrophysicists, theoretical mathematicians that are just creating shit off the top of their head. And so the concept behind that I really appreciate is like they even went the length to try and like explain what happens when in higher dimensions of reality that we know exist. We know like the fourth dimension exists and manipulation of time is real, but what does that look like? You needed a fifth dimensional rendition of the fourth dimension in order to even fuck with that. And they use gravity.
The fuck did he just say?
The movie's very much like that.
He said, I need the fifth dimension on top of the fourth dimension that'll bring
That's
in
one of the best
third.
explanations of that movie. I've seen it so many times, and I always say it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it recently, and that just about does it right there. After I watched it, I went looking up all the charts on it and like the time and the actual understanding of it. Oh, dude, it was like, wow, I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate it.
You should watch it.
I'll check it out. I like
sounds like
movies.
you've seen it already, though.
Yeah, dude, the fact that you made that jump, by the way,
you said
but
that.
it's usually the simplest answers with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like you're saying human nature, you know what I mean? Like it's the simplest things that you would be like, no, there's no possible way. Like that's too obvious.
Yeah,
That's
but
usually
it's you know. And I'm like the kind of guy that'll get caught in YouTube rabbit holes about things, right? And I ended up watching this video not too long ago on FTL systems, which is like faster than light systems. I don't know any of this math. I've been around a lot of intelligent people, and I am in no way, shape, or form trying to say that I can understand the mathematics at all. But the concepts behind them are fucking insane. Like the type of creative mind you need to have in order to even hypothesize how like states of matter or way time functions outside of like our day-to-day is unbelievable. And an FTL system basically describes like imagine two lines approaching the same time, and you're trying to cut across time to get to an earlier point. If you draw a line at different points in time to the same point, you end up actually creating lines that cut there quicker. And so if we ever theorize time travel, if we ever got to a point where it's like legitimate, and I wanted to come to this conversation and be like, yo, like Darren, tell him this before the chat, right? You know, I would have not only already told myself to do that, there would have been a version of myself that told me to go do that as well. So anytime you theorize cutting to a place quicker, the FTL system indicates that a person got there before you even executed on it.
That would be like another you, though, right? Like it'd be like there's infinite, like somebody. I don't know, man. I see. All right.
Have you seen Donnie Darko?
No, I haven't. But I'm really just thinking of. You ever seen those mirrors where it's like you can look and it's just like a bunch of you back here, right?
Think of it that way.
That kind of way, where it's like,
think of it that way.
It's like a stream. Like the stream of time is you, and you can see it. And you look back and you see back there. You look forward, you see back forward, but it's there. Or maybe you can't necessarily see it, but it's there.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
You're in it.
If you could time travel, where would you go? Forward or backward?
Oh, back.
You going back?
Yeah, dude.
You got the skin color for that.
For what?
Yeah, you got the skin color for that. I'm not going back past 1975.
Nah, dude.
Specifically. He's like, things gonna start looking up for us.
Right, yeah, we get. You know what I'm saying? We get.
And even then,
I'm going back with my regular clothes and my light skinnedness. The fuck no.
Yo.
No.
No, dude. I absolutely have a time, and I've thought this through. Plato describes the lost civilization of Atlantis. And one of my,
dope to see,
no, it's not even just that, bro. That's society, like, cause they just recently had confirmed that there's like water erosion marks at the bottom of the Sphinx in Egypt that indicate it's in a completely different climactic period. Because if water erosion goes down the paws of the Sphinx and not along the river banks that the Nile ran through, that means you would have had to have torrential rain for a long period of time, and that tracks back to a completely different period about 8,000 to 13,000 years ago. And so if that's the case, and we know that there is a civilization capable of creating something like that, you have sites like Göbekli Tepe that are 8,000 years old, describing really intense imagery, and monolithic sites that describe the stars. Like there's little hints around the world that there's like actually older civilizations, and Plato was accepted 99% of the things that he's written out there. Like I'm reading the Republic right now, and we just take that as it's like literature, and he's a historian. But when it comes to the description of Atlantis, we just decided that it didn't exist. And backing that up with recent data that came out in, I believe it's Greenland. There's a impact crater zone called the Younger Dryas.
Right.
You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
And so that would have completely, basically shit fucked the Earth for 200 years, and would have caused a massive sea level rise. There would have been nuclear rain, nuclear winter, and just dramatically changed the climate very quickly. And so if that's the case, humans aren't getting past that. And I truly believe that, like, in religions as well, there's all these little stories, like myths that we've interpreted as like, oh, like, the sun's going to kill us one day because God, has a wrath, or, whatever it is, whatever story it is. You have like,
sun's going to kill us because of science.
Yeah,
it's the ice. It's the ice caps melting. It's something catastrophic happening and causing like excess water to flood.
For sure.
That's a
like,
thought. Of
dude,
all
of our mega cities that we have nowadays are along water.
Bro,
they're along ocean lines.
Fucked.
Dude, if the water raised like 400 feet, like it said that it did in the reasons, or like 400 meters the time since, that's what, 1,200 fucking feet of land that's now under ocean or otherwise. That's a lot of land.
We can't see, and then we have no idea what's
over
there.
Dude, like Pakistan this year, a third of its country is now a lake. That's real. Like that's like not returning unless we decide to go siphon all the water out. But it's like fully a lake now, and
in our generation.
So
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the bullshit, man.
Yeah.
We done had the pandemic. We done had 9/11.
Let's go.
Another wars. Like, you know what I'm saying? Can we just chill for a generation?
I don't think so, bro. I think we're stuck with this problem.
Fuck these people.
But 12,800 years ago, 13,000 years ago, that's where I would go. I would go.
So you're telling me there's
Azores.
legit proof that Atlantis exists?
I just listened to a podcast last night, Randall Carlson, who's like an expert in kind of creating these models where he's tracked different industries and put together a picture of like, this is why, a certain instance has occurred. He's analyzed the Rekot structure in Mauritania, which is like a direct depiction of what the city would have looked like, and also the Azores in the Mid-Atlantic Rift. And
that's the strand of a house plant that we saw.
What'd you say?
The Azores.
Oh yeah, Azores High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. And it was just a really interesting podcast. He's chatting with a couple of his buddies, and has a whole deck of like reasons as to why this occurred or whatnot. But yeah, there's two pieces of data that were pretty shocking. The first thing was that if you look at the Azores, you look at the Canary Islands, which are nearby, there's all of these studies that were done that show like over half of the islands just sinking into the ocean, like massive landslides. It said up to 450,000 years ago, but the tail end of one of the landslides in the Canary Islands, I think off Tenerife, shows that it's within 20,000 years. There's a potential. And so when they say 450,000 years to now, that's like science just basically saying we don't know when it occurred, but this is because of the way that the plate tectonics are nowadays, that would put it in this time period. And there's a whole description of the size of what Atlantis is, and Plato described it, and he did a rendition of like what the Mid-Atlantic Rift is, and that's like a where the two plates meet at the very center of the Atlantic Ocean. That's where the Azores are and the Canary Islands. There would have been a full like plain field in between like the tips of those mountains, which are now islands, and
that would have been Atlantis.
It would have been a perfect description, because it also mentions like rocks that were black, red, and white, and there's volcanic rock on the island. There's these red rocks that you can see very clearly, and limestone everywhere. There's just a lot of different descriptors that make you think like it was a very lush place where everything could grow, and the land in the Azores is like notorious for being brilliant soil. So he covered so many different angles of it, and I'm doing a disjustice on like what he said, but in reality, like, this guy has done his research, and people like that who have developed their life to kind of understanding these like out there concepts, I fuck with it heavy.
You said Randall Carlson?
Randall Carlson. Yeah, you should definitely look him up. This man is a genius. He's he looks at a lot of climate catastrophes as well, and does some pretty crazy science, like scientific, what's the right word? His hypotheses are brilliant. Like there's one other thing that he did. He said he tripped on acid when he was in his early 20s, and it's like what spurred everything for him. He was at a festival out in England, and he just tripped on acid. He's looking out into the field, and he's like looking at the field, and he sees all of these patterns, like almost like patterns you see on that wood right there, like water erosion through the forest, and he's just like, damn.
Water used to be here.
It's like we were in an ocean. Life. Yeah, it's like we were really in an ocean. Like I'm sitting in an ocean right now that is now above ground, and it like just kind of sent him on this long journey of understanding our climate and like how much the Earth changes in a short period of time. And yeah, man.
Shoot, I mean, just staying on that plane,
Yeah.
Since we're talking about Atlantis and like stuff like
Go
that.
for it.
You feel like there's such thing as black mermaids? Are there black mermaids?
Black mermaids? Are we talking about mermaids? Like
black mermaids.
I mean, if there's mermaids, I don't know what color they'd be, but I'm sure there'd be a lot of different colored mermaids.
Well, we got variety, you know what I'm saying? Like Irish mermaids. Yeah. We got Guyanese mermaids.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe in mermaids.
Nah, I'm not a believer anyway. But like what we got going on nowadays is there's a big uproar about there's a black actress playing the Little Mermaid.
Oh, that shit, the fucking Ariel thing.
Oh my
God. Bro, look, here's the thing. Man, y'all really had this industry for like 90 years, and you're complaining with the first black mermaid.
Yo, they had so many white people playing black roles and shit.
Man.
Like white people playing Hispanic roles and shit. Like fucking goddamn Scarface. Tony Montana is white.
That man's Sicilian, right?
He's white as fuck.
Yeah.
All right, man. Nah. Hey, yo, man, I appreciate you pulling up. You definitely got to come back through, man. We got to talk about some shit. I was not expecting this conversation to go the way it was going.
No, you're
But I really enjoy going down these quick rabbit holes and shit with people, you know what I'm saying? So we definitely got to get you back on.
Yes, sir.
But there's one thing I need you to do, man. I need you to look at that camera right there and tell everybody where they can find you at social media, everything.
So TikTok tried to ban me today, which is a crazy thing.
The fuck?
Yeah, that's wild. So you can find me at Darren Tahbaz on all platforms. I got that shit reinstated. Don't you worry about it. DARREN, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, H as in Henry, B as in boy, A as in Apple, and Z as in zebra. Find me there.
My dog, man. As always, be safe out here, man. We're going to chop it up. We're going to grab a pick. I'm going to grab a drop with you. We're going to do this stuff, man. Right. More importantly, everybody out there, y'all drink water, stay safe, love your people, and I don't know, man, just live life. We out.
I'm getting it. Gotta make room for a fat nigga. Get mine, give a fuck what you got, nigga. I was down, I was broke, I was that nigga. I was fried, I survived, I ain't tired. I just put all the talk to the side. Went from the thought to this nigga to God. Bars is hard, but this nigga look soft. Polos and loafers and drip before so I'm